If you enjoy this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for just $5 a month. Click on the card in the upper right-hand corner for more information. Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media. This is a continuation of last week's video. Essentially, I picked up a lot of vintage Apple laptops in the last episode, and we're going to continue repairing and restoring them today. If you're interested in watching me work on the iBook G3 and the Powerbook G4, go check out last week's video in the upper right-hand corner of this video. You can click on the link right now. Today we're going to be working on the 2007 MacBook Pro and the 2010 MacBook Pro. Without any further ado, let's jump into these laptops. So this is a brand new MagSafe charger. I'm so reluctant to take it out of this black, but I'm going to do it. Let me go ahead and plug this in. This is the MagSafe charger. As you can see, it's all wrapped in gloss still. It's brand new. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. There it goes. So plugged in now. I think the battery in this thing's totally shot, but I think it should start at least now. All right, we got nothing right now. It might be the connector too dirty as well. The connector is quite messy. I'm gonna try to clean that up a bit and then maybe try this again. This old boy's got nothing. Let's try out the other MacBook and see if that does anything too on this power. It's a 2006 MacBook Pro. The weird latch that requires two hands. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm sure you guys have seen one of these before. Very old school. Let's go ahead and plug in that MagSafe connector into this guy. And I have a feeling that this one's not charging either, so I'm just gonna try to boot it. Okay, got nothing on this guy either. Well, I'm gonna have to see if there's any other remarkable problems with either of these, but as you can see, neither of them are starting. So I just cleaned the MagSafe port and mashed the power button a few times, and somehow it started. Amazing. Oh, hi Bobby. So this is the, I believe 2007, it might be a 2006. It's definitely not a 2009 because I think that was the first year of the unibody. It might also be a 2008, but we'll see. This thing is loud. I don't know if you can hear that. And I'm confident the battery is totally fried, but I actually don't have it plugged in right now, so you can see it's right here. Maybe the same method would work on this guy. Just clean the MagSafe connector a bit. It's looking like this guy's starting, which is a good sign. This one has no discernible problems on the surface. It's just a perfect MacBook. A little bit of plastic wear right here, but outside of that, looks great. It's taken a while though, as I guess old hard drives do. I think this one was used a little bit more than that Powerbook over there. Just want to be careful not to bump that MagSafe connector because it'll turn the whole thing off. Some minor scuffs and stuff, like as you can see here. But other than that, this is a looks like a perfectly functional MacBook. Come on, give me that boot up. I think this might be Lion based on the colors. It is El Capitan. There's a password on it, so unfortunately I can't log into it. But it is an El Capitan install on here. Maybe I can like guess the password. I can also text the original listing guy and he might know. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the chances? Wow, you're kidding me. I got that on camera. I just guessed the password. I just guessed 1, 2, 3, 4. That's insane. It says low battery, your Mac will go to sleep unless you plug it in. Of course it's low battery. There's no battery in the computer. It's working. Functional MacBook Pro from, let's find out what year this thing is. This is, it doesn't have it. No. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do some more research on this. They didn't start putting the year model, I think until Sierra, and which is the following operating system from this. I believe it's 2006. No, actually, it's probably 2007 or 8 because I think Core 2 Duo wasn't in the first MacBook Pros. It was originally Core Duo. This is a much more usable and newer operating system though. The other ones are so old. The serial number on Apple's website, and it actually literally says MacBook Pro Intel Core 2 Duo 2.4/2.2 gigahertz. Doesn't actually give the identifier, but I went on a little bit of a Google search, and this is a late 2007 MacBook Pro. Again, definitely more usable than those guys over there. Those guys are antiques. This is a little bit more modern, but I think you could probably go on YouTube and search around and, you know, get around at least on this guy. Those guys, you can't even go on YouTube, as you saw in the previous clip. I want to plug this battery in and see if it stops the obnoxiously loud fans that you hear. I'm pretty sure it will, but another MacBook that's working, or another laptop that's working, I guess. I'm debating whether to keep these or to sell them, because I really only wanted those guys because they're, you know, vintage and they had the box, and I'm a bit of a, you know, a vintage Apple and Steve Jobs enthusiast. As far as the newer MacBooks, I don't know, there's really nothing keeping me towards these. They're a little bit too modern to be like cool to me. It's not in the cool era yet. You know, there's this period of tech where things are cool for a while, then they become uncool, and then they're so old that they become cool again. This is not at that point yet. This is like a 2010, 2011, 2012 style. So it's kind of like, it just looks old. It doesn't have that old nostalgia cool factor like this guy does, which is like old and cool. I don't know, at least to me. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Maybe I'm just delusional. Let's see if there's anything on this laptop. I doubt it. It probably got cleared off before they gave it away. Yep, it seems to be a clear install of LCAP, which is cool enough for me. It's a good operating system. It's actually usable. You could put like Ableton 10 on here. Anyway, let's plug this battery back in, see if it does anything, and then we'll go back to this guy and try to clean it up and see if we can get it to work. So the battery did nothing. It still starts with the clean MagSafe port, but it really didn't change the fan volume at all. I'm gonna try to clean up the port on this guy. Maybe the next few weeks I'll get a replacement battery and we can do something cool with this one. How about that? Okay, I didn't say anything about the MacBook at first. The trackpad was cracked in the original listing, and I was like, that only means one thing, and it was as I feared. The battery on this 2010 guy expanded outward and pushed the trackpad out and cracked it. Luckily, the case is actually surprisingly in good condition. It was actually not warped at all. This warped outward in such a way that it's actually not that big of a deal. It really just pushed up. Didn't really push anything over here, so it didn't do too much damage besides the trackpad. It should still start. Here's a look at that aforementioned battery in the light. I was over in the dark by my desk and now in my kitchen, as you can see. There it is. It's just slightly expanded outwards toward the middle here, and it pushed the trackpad enough to where it damaged it. I'm not too worried about, you know, the internals falling out. These things are pretty rigid, so I'm just gonna gently set it down. These old unibody MacBooks are crazy rigid. Yeah, and as you can see, it's pushed out. If I was to give it a little bit of force on the top, I can feel it pushing back in. It means that it's only, you know, like that because of the expanded battery. This is actually in pretty good condition. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in and see if it does anything. Must have left this in their shed for like years. Like, look at that grime. I don't even know what's in that SD card slot, but this thing is dirty. The inside's actually not too bad. Looks fine to me, no water damage or anything. So I just scrubbed this MagSafe with Q-tips. Hopefully I can get this thing to make contact and start. The original seller told me all of these started, and three out of four have started so far, so I'm assuming that he's not lying to me. There we go, let's move this old boy out of the way and see if we can get the slightly younger old boy to go. What I did on this guy is I just mashed the power button. I'm thinking that might actually help here. I think it might have cleared the power management. Just mash the power button a lot and clean the MagSafe again, but the old 2010 is booted. The fan's going nuts. I think it's because of the expanded battery. It doesn't probably recognize that the battery's even in there. That might have been why these are struggling to start, actually, because they actually require a little bit of power from the battery to initiate the boot. There's a way you can circumvent that. If you unplug the battery, there's a certain key command shortcut or something, or a series of power button presses that'll do it. I think that I inadvertently did that by just mashing the power button. So here we are. Hopefully this thing gets to Mac OS. It's looking to be, if this one was El Capitan, this is probably El Cap 2. Maybe Sierra, if we're lucky. But this guy I can actually update to probably, like, you know, Catalina with the newest patch. Oh, there it goes. and she's off. Hopefully this one's not password. Nope, it's not. Cool, so they updated this one to Sierra, or this one's on El Cap 2, I believe. Oh, so it looks like they were going to install Sierra. They downloaded it, they just never did it. It's actually launched here. I'm gonna have to get another mouse because this trackpad is royally screwed up. It's working miraculously. If I put on the function to tap click, I might be able to get away with this. I might actually run this macOS Sierra update. I don't want to do it though with the battery installed. This one looks to have some stuff on it too, like somebody was loading websites before, you know, they shut it off. Whatever's behind here, this is the Sierra installer. There's a few things here, remote mouse, some configuration files for whatever reason. BBC iPlayer, don't know what that is. They have a VPN on here. Applications, they have not much. This one might actually be repairable and sellable because it's, you know, newer and can run the newer operating system. And it crashed. Well, that's obviously not ideal yet. I think that's because of the power, but once I get the battery replaced and stuff, I think it should work. Really quickly before I end on this guy, I want to just look at the specs. I didn't open that up. So we have about this Mac. And it is a mid 2010 15-inch MacBook Pro, 2.4 gigahertz i5, 8 gigs of RAM, an NVIDIA GT 330M with 256 megs of VRAM. That's a 300 gig hard drive. If anything, this thing would be very usable with like a solid state drive. So it's a couple of days later, I managed to get the old battery out of the 2010 MacBook Pro. I actually purchased a battery, but it was the wrong size. I'm a dingus. I got the 13-inch one instead of the 15, so the actual 15-inch one is coming today. Also, the replacement battery for the 2007 one is coming today as well. And I had this really cool idea. I think it's been a few days now and I've managed to marinate on it. I think I'm gonna do a video where I use every version of Ableton Live from like 1 to 10 and like start a song on the iBook and basically work my way up until modern Ableton. I don't know if I can do it because I have to activate it. If I can manage to figure out a way to activate live, maybe I can do it. It'd be really interesting for sure. I'll have to talk to my friends at Ableton to see if I can do that. So I've got the MacBook Pro set up on my desk now. As you can see, the fans are still going full tilt. I'm gonna replace the battery. I think that might be the extent of what I do to this. I've discovered that the keyboard doesn't work. I think it's some sort of water got in the keyboard or something and it's not taking the keys correctly. So I'm gonna have to replace the keyboard, and even so, it might not actually be the keyboard, it might be the logic board underneath that's messed up. If it's the logic board, then buying a keyboard would be essentially, you know, pointless for this. I'm already close to like the is it worth it threshold for this guy, even with buying the battery and the charger too. So I don't know if I'm gonna carry on with this one. If this video carries on, you know, you'll see what I do with it. But for now, I don't think it's gonna at least get fully restored by me. I'll get the new battery in there and I'll, you know, flatten the trackpad out. The cracks are just visual, they're not functional. And that might resolve some of the keyboard issues, but while I'm in there, I might try to take the keyboard out, take a look and see if it's corroded. If it's the keyboard itself, I can replace that for like 20 bucks, but if it's the logic board, this thing is, you know, kind of hopeless. I don't really care enough about it to fix that. So we'll see how it acts with the new battery in there, but other than that, guys, I don't know about this keyboard, and I don't really know about this MacBook. It's really ironic that the 2006 or 7 one is the most, you know, functional MacBook of the two of these. I really thought that this would be the one, but we'll see. Maybe I can get it going again. I just picked up this aftermarket battery for this 2007 MacBook Pro. Not a super valuable laptop by any means, but it's cool to have it running. As an Apple and tech enthusiast, I love to restore old technology. I wish this lid wasn't so dumb. As you can see, it's running without the fans on, which is awesome. Full speed, no problems, and as you can see, I can disconnect the battery, or the power, and run on battery. Okay guys, I lied, that wasn't the end. This is the 2010 MacBook Pro. I just basically took the entire thing apart. I didn't record it because it was such a tedious process. Took the logic board out, took the fans out, took the keyboard out, which is especially painful on the unibodies because there's about 50 something screws on the keyboard that you have to remove. I'll put a picture of it. Essentially, that's all I captured while doing it. And I swapped out the drive for a solid state drive, just a cheapo little thing I got on Amazon just because I figured it would be better than a failing 5400 RPM drive anyway. I'm about to install Catalina on this thing. I don't think I'm gonna do any further projects with this guy like on the channel because there's really not much to it. It's not old enough to be cool MacBook Pro. When they get older like that guy over there, you know, they become pretty cool. They have this really cool like old thing about them, but these 2010s just feel antiquated. They don't feel cool and old. So I don't think that for now I'm gonna do anything with this guy on the channel, but I just wanted to inform you that I updated it, got a new battery in here, got the keyboard completely replaced because it was water damaged, and it works now. And then on that guy, I got a new battery for it. It's working perfectly. I think I'm gonna give it to my mother or my brother just so they can use it for like, you know, some basic design stuff or whatever around the house because they don't have a laptop over there. And this guy I think I'm gonna use for gradient stuff in the future. Cool, so I think that's actually the end of the video. Maybe I'll do a ending blog section on that camera. Yo guys, this is Julian from a few weeks, almost a month now later. I meant to get this video out you know, earlier than this, about a week after the original one, but you know, I just haven't had the time, and I've been dealing with a lot of stuff personally over the past few weeks, so it got delayed. But I figured because it's been a few weeks now, I'll show you what I'm actually using this for now. So I mentioned in the edit that I'm currently working on that, you know, there's some underlying problems with this 2010 guy and I wasn't gonna really use it. But I did mention towards the end of the video that, you know, I was thinking about using it for gradient stuff. You know, my cat, of course, has to walk on the keyboard. And that's what I've been doing basically. You know, I have the gradient sticker on it. It's become a work laptop essentially. Not a workhorse. It's really not a strong laptop, but for, you know, having an extra computer around the house for, you know, just setting up a buffer queue for social media, you know, going on Facebook and posting stuff for Gradient, dealing with Gradient CD orders, and that sort of stuff. It's a really perfect machine for that. By the way, guys, if you're watching this before November 30th, we're doing a discounted sale for Gradient. We're selling both of our CDs, volume 1 and 2, for the low price of $30 total. They usually go for $25 each, so if you pick it up between then and now, I'll be processing your order through this laptop. But as you can see, I mean, it runs all the newest stuff. I have a patch, like I mentioned earlier in this video, for Catalina. Works great. There's a few workarounds I have to do on here. I didn't mention in the other clips previously in this video, but there's a fundamental problem with these 2010 MacBook Pros. In the 2011s, they have a graphics card that notoriously fails. They basically burn out and then the computers become completely useless. On the 2010 ones, there's a power rail problem where one of the capacitors on the power line for the graphics card fails. So you end up with these blue screens, well, the equivalent of a blue screen, a kernel panic on Mac. You end up with these kernel panics every time the graphics card initiates and runs for, you know, a few minutes. So the only way to fix that is some micro soldering of a new capacitor onto the logic board, and I don't feel like doing that. It's not an expensive repair, but it, you know, runs the risk of damaging the entire computer. And for what it is, I'm not really using the dedicated graphics. There's this really cool application called Graphics Card Status. And if you have a 2011 or 2010 MacBook Pro that has that problem with graphics, whenever they initiate, it fails or crashes the computer, you can actually get that application, set it to integrated only, and then it'll never actually switch to dedicated graphic or discrete graphics as they call it in you know, the Mac OS. But yeah, so I've been running this laptop. It's been a great guy. I have a Bluetooth dongle so I can enable, you know, continuity and AirDrop and that sort of stuff, which I think is the biggest reason why I like using a Mac for work stuff. I like to drop a file from my phone to my computer, and it's essential for, you know, getting a video like this into my editor really quickly. So yeah, guys, this is the 2010 MacBook Pro. The 2007 one is working perfectly too. Nothing has really changed since the last video. It's still running the same software, running it perfectly on El Capitan and on a battery. But this guy, you know, we had some more developments on, and I thought I'd share them with you before we wrapped up this video. So, hello from the future. Juno says hi too. Yeah, let's hop into past Julian again so we can wrap up this video. Awesome, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this, you know, admittedly a little convoluted process of repairing these laptops. If you did, let me know with a thumbs up on this video. If you're interested in more tech videos like this on this channel, let me know down in the comment section below. And just like last time, let me know if you have any cool stories about old laptops you had, Apple or otherwise. Keep your eyes peeled to a follow-up video to this one where we look at vintage audio software, including Ableton Live version 1 through 10. I think I might do a retrospective of the entire lineage of Ableton software. Make sure to subscribe if you're interested in that video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.